Hello guys, welcome back. So in today's video, I want to share with you a really cool feature, yes, another one, in Excel. What am I talking about? Scrolling bars. Let me give it some context. I was asked by my manager to provide sales representations, a small report for our three branches, our West branch, South, and North. That's it, just outside the view. All right, so he wanted to know each of our sales reps, the vehicles they were working on, and where we were in terms of sales. I put the three together, extracted it from our very large database. For each of them, we had 272 records, put them all together, and I sent him the report. To my mind, I figured he would simply scroll down, get his information, everything would be okay. However, he called me very shortly after, and as soon as he began to work and scroll, he became overwhelmed. So many figures, so many names, he could not handle it. He asked if I could represent the same information but in smaller chunks. So I got thinking about all the features I knew and what would be the best one to use. That led me to scroll bars. And today I'm going to show you how you can use scroll bars for scenarios such as that. So what does that even look like? Let's get to it. So this data, which was extracted, they're all now pasted as just values only, so no functions are being used over here. This is now our raw data set. Over here, we're going to build our scroll bars utilizing this information over here. All right. So the first step, we're going to copy our headers. Control C to copy. We're going to come over. Let's see where we are. B3. So we're going to duplicate it over here. First, we're going to paste the width of our columns to get the exact same size. And then we're going to paste our headers. All right. Let's do South as well. So you can see that's I3, that they work independently. Over to I3, we're going to do the exact same thing. First paste the width, and then paste the headers. All right. So when I asked him about a number that would be good for him, he said 10. That's our first 10 records. Then when he's finished with that, he wants to see the other 10. All right. Now originally these numbers were not here, but I placed them here for the sake of the video so you can see it when it's working, how and which records are being used. All right. So over here, we're going to give borders to our work area, which is 10 rows down, 4 columns across. Give that some borders. Come over here, do the same. Okay, I heard that question. How do I know I've reached 10 rows down? So we're going to keep our eyes on our name box. All right. So as we scroll down, we select and we go down. See, 10R. That's for rows. And as we go across, it lets you know how many columns across we're also selecting. We're going to apply our borders here as well. Okay, great. So now what we're going to use, here's where the functions come in. We're going to use our index function. And that's going to help us grab this information. And as we move, then we're going to be able to grab the other information. All right. If we remember how our index function works, we know it's a lot later than our offset. Some of you may be thinking offset, but we're going to use index in this case. Offset is very heavy, and so if you use lots of them, I can actually slow your operation. So let's go index. All right, we're going to go over and use our very first row. Use our comma separator. And for our row number, we're going to choose this cell just outside our data set because that is what we're going to use to manipulate the information we're going to see. You'll see what it looks like later. And that will be it for our index function. Okay, close parentheses. And we're going to say OK. So what do we first get? As you can see, It spilled some information. I'm using 365. Depends on what version you're using. You will not see this. I'm using 365, but it's working. So it spills the information all the way down. 272 lets me know, yes, it's giving me all my records. And as we wanted, we're getting our first 10 in our work area. All right. So what we're going to do now, and the reason you're seeing all of this is because I have not placed a number here. The number I'm going to place here, if I place 1, suddenly I get 1. All right, I can scroll down now. Hold on. I need to lock this in place. So let's do that first. Using our F4. Good stuff. So I'm going to use my fill handle and drag down. I get my 1 through 10. Then I'm going to pull across and I get my first 10 records. All right. I can see Excel is talking to me. It's letting me know it will miss the adjacent cells. All right. But you can ignore that message. So I have my first 10. Let's get back to the top. And we can confirm yes. 1 through 10, Rena is at the bottom. All right. So what we're going to do, we're going to use this number right now. Our first record is number 1. I'm going to say 2. And now our second record is number 1. And if I said 3, that third record is number 1. And so on and so forth. How cool is that? And so the boss could do it like that in increments of 1. Let's choose 6. Now our sixth record is at the top. And that's how our information is going to filter in and filter in and filter in. Let's put that 1 for right now. But I want to make it easy for him. So that's how the scroll bars come in. And let's see how to get them. We're going to use our developer tab, which right now is not currently there. How do you get it? Anywhere on your top, any of the top tabs, you can right click, customize the ribbon. And here we're going to click and enable developer tab. All right, hit OK. Our developer tab is here. We're going to go into our developer tab, go to our control group, hit insert, and we're looking for this scroll bar right here. Right under a checkbox, form controls. We're not using our ActiveX controls. All right, we're using our form controls and we're using our scroll bars. I'm going to click on that and we're going to draw it right here. All right. So now we can click on this and we can scroll. Just as we use our scroll bars to the left and even to the right, sorry, and even underneath we now have 1 right for our data set. All right. So what we need to do now is link this with this cell. All right. Let's just customize our size a little bit. And there we have it. All right. So how do we do that? We're going to right click on our scroll bar, hit Format Controls. And here in our Control tab, we're going to enter some figures right here. What is our current value? That's 1. And we want our minimum value to also be 1. All right, remember when we had 0 here, it spilled over beyond our 10 rows of data we want to see. That's our minimum number. Now our maximum number, this is dependent on how many rows of information you have and how many rows of information you wish to display. We're going to click OK for now. Let's calculate that. So how many rows of information do we have? We have 272 records. Okay, let's keep that number in mind. So somewhere here, we're going to say 272. How many rows of information do we want to display? Okay, we want to display 10. All right, so underneath that, we're going to say 10. Now, what we're first going to do We're first going to subtract 10. Let's do it right here. 272, subtract 10. That's going to give us 262. And then we want to add 1. All right? That 1 will always be, as you see here, that number here. But that would also be our very first record. So essentially what we're saying is we're taking our 10 records and we want that after you start from 1 down to 10, you show the other 9. All right? It can seem a little complicated, but the more you do it, the more it'll make sense. So you're going to add 1 to this, and that's going to give you 263. So that's going to be our maximum number. Let's go back into our format controls. And here we're going to say 263. Increment change, that's by 1. Pace change, that's already 10. Lovely. And our cell link is going to be that cell. Okay. I like to keep 3D shading on. You can take it off or you can put it on. That's absolutely your choice. If we don't get OK, we're going to click OK. Now, when I click up or down, see it changes automatically. And our second record is now at the top. And you can still see 10 records. You can scroll down, 5, 6, and so on. But what's even cooler, go back to our form controls quickly. Remember, our pace change is 10. What does that mean? It means if I click anywhere between my top arrow and my bottom arrow, it's going to change by 10. So I can come right here in the middle, and if I click on it, I get the other 10 records. Click on it, I get the other 10 records. And so now, the information that he's viewing, let's make that even bigger. The information that he's viewing is now, and we can keep doing that, and we can keep doing that. It's now always just 10 records. All right, and you can see here in this cell, you're controlling that from your scroll bar. All right, now you're not going to see this number. If I auto fit that, now it's hid behind your scroll bar. All right, let's do it one more time for the self. So from the beginning, we're going to use our index function. We're going to choose our array. We're going to use the self this time, comma, come back over to where we want to place. There we go, just outside our set. We're going to hide that when we're finished. We're going to lock this, close our parentheses, say OK. Again, we get the spill because there is no number here. We're going to put 1. And we get our 1. We're going to scroll down and across, and we get our records. All right. Let's customize both of these. We can go to our home tab, make it currency, so we can see that those are actually sales figures. All right. Let's come across a little bit, make it a little bigger so you can see self. All right. Go back to our developer tab, insert. Under our form controls, we're going to hit a scroll bar and we're going to draw that right here next to our data, and we are going to connect that to this cell. We right click, format controls. Current number is 1. Minimum value, at least we need it to be is 1. Remember our calculations. Our display value, subtract that from an amount of records and add 1. So we calculated 263, increments of 1, pace change is 10. Yes, and we're going to link it to that cell. All right, I'm going to click over here. And we're going to do the exact same thing. And I want you to see that it's working independently. If I click over here, let's go across, right? If I click on this one, that's operating the west branch. But if I click on this one, it's operating the south branch. All right, how cool is that? So now my boss is able to see the same information, but in chunk size. All right, so practice it, use it for your information, and that is how you use scroll bars in Excel. I hope this is really able to help you and you're able to implement it. All right, so guys, I'll see you in the next video.